Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Tusky, and in this cursed video I am going to bring you the character customization for ArcheAge. So this is going to be recorded live. We're going to just go through it all and you get to see exactly how it works. So this is the kind of opening screen we have here. This is the character select screen. We have 4 slots at the moment. This is a free-to-play game, or at least it will be when it releases. So it's likely you'll be able to buy more slots, probably going down to probably 8, 9 or 10 here. And in the middle here we have the main map. We have Warrior, Nuia and Haranya. I do apologise for my pronunciation of some of these things. This is not a Western MMO, so I will probably make a few mistakes in terms of pronunciation. But let's get started with the character customization. We will go to Create Character. So, we have 4 races to choose between, with 2 factions. They're all kind of humanoid, and it's kind of what you'd expect, really. So we have on this one side here, we have the Nuians. Called the Conquerors of the Continent, they possess a deeply spiritual culture that revolves around worshipping Nui, the goddess of the hereafter. They revere the traditions, beauty and harmony of their fallen kingdom, and fight fearlessly to bring these traits to their new land. So they're humans, essentially. Very noble humans. We have these traits. Obviously each race will have its own unique benefits. So these ones are favoured by the goddess of the hereafter. Nuians receive extra benefit from visiting her realm, doubling the time their stats are increased after being resurrected. So it seems like you get extra stats when you're resurrected, so that's cool. And you have warrior architects. Frequent rebellions and civil wars have led the Nuians to become quick builders, reducing construction time for houses and castles by 30%. So that's good. And then of course we have the females. Now this is a Western RPG, so this belly exposed skin area can be expected on all the female models, unfortunately. It's not personally something that I'm a big fan of. I think that if a female is wearing battle armor, she should, not be able to be killed by a single dagger to the stomach, but, some people like that. I certainly don't, so we will stick with the males for now. Moving on, we have the elves. Elves seclude themselves deep in the forest, avoiding other races as much as possible. Although envied for their beauty, their behaviour is considered incomprehensible. Hoping for an honourable death, they often deliberately seek out danger. They feel the ultimate honour is vengeance for their past defeats. So that's very cool. You have a lot of kind of the normal traits with the elves, kind of, hiding in the forest, avoiding other races, very beautiful. But this hoping for an honourable death thing is something a little bit different. I like that. So buffs for the elves are endurance training. So they are trained for combat from the day they can walk. They possess increased physical ability, and this stamina allows them to hold their breath underwater for an extra 20 seconds. And the other one is Lithe Flow. The decades spent around the, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, the lake make most elves talented swimmers, increasing their swimming speed by 5%. So these guys have benefits in the water. And of course you have the females here with the amazing jiggle physics. I have nothing to say about that, I'm afraid, but there you go. If you like that, there you go. So moving on to the other faction, you have the Firan here. The restless nomadic Firan roam the wilds, fueled by dreams of protecting nature and reclaiming their former glory. They believe every life, no matter how small, is not only valuable, but plays a critical role in the natural world, and that every Firan must strive to find their purpose and play their part. So these are kind of cat people. Our buffs. Cat-like reflexes. The Firan's quick reflexes allow them to twist their bodies as they fall and land more nimbly, decreasing fall damage by 20%. So that's kind of a trope of the whole, cats always land on their feet thing. And strong claws. The Firan's long, non-retractable claws allow them to climb trees and ladders 30% faster. So that actually proves the fact that this game has climbable ladders, which is cool. More MMOs need to have climbable ladders. And then you have the females here. Again, kind of ridiculous in my opinion. And this is something I've noticed with the Firan. The male looks very much like a kind of a cat person, very feral, a lot of fur around the face, whereas the female kind of just looks like a girl in a costume. But, again, I'm not going to rag too much about the females. I could go on for ages about that kind of thing, but I'm not going to. So the last race, the Harani. Harani are survivors in the truest sense of the word. Others may do anything to succeed and meet their gods in the process, but Harani will do anything to live. Practical, cunning and family-minded, it is no surprise the strength of their new kingdom rivals the strength of the kingdom they lost. So, our buffs. Portal Mastery. The far-flung Harani Empire has forced its people to master the use of portals for quick travel, reducing the cast time and cooldown on their recall ability by 30%. And Jungle Tamers. Settling in the jungles of Mahadevi taught the Harani to be efficient in their labour, reducing the time required for logging trees and gathering herbs by 10%. So there you go. They've got quite a bit of travel there. and a little bit of the old creation. So, the female is, of course, just what you'd expect. Very kind of Western style with their character design here. So, I think for now, we'll go with an elf. I've already made a Furin, and I do like them, but I think we'll go with something a bit different here, and we'll show off the character customization as we go along. So let's move on to the appearance. At any point, you can just go straight to the class selection, which is a little bit different from most games, but we'll get onto that later. So here is the main character customization. On the right here, you have a lot of pre-mades that you can use, which is pretty cool. But for now, we will stay with this first pre-made and customize it to our liking. So, on the left here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18 different hairstyles. So, we've got a whole bunch here. All kinds of different hairstyles. The hair looks pretty well modeled. I like it. As you can see, it does have physics as you move around like this. So that's pretty good. Moving on. Kind of a long-haired one. This is cool. You can kind of see it kind of swaying down the back there. That's pretty cool. I like that. Although it's probably going to be quite hilarious at some points. So I think we will go with this one. And hair colours. We have a lot of different hair colours to choose from here. Probably around about 60. And I like that they actually show the different kind of variations in the colour in the preview screen here, because hair is not a solid colour. So that's very good. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch here, all kinds of different shades and colours, from pink to purple to red to all kind of normal kind of colours. Got some greens here, might be quite good for the elves. So those are our colours. So for now, I think we will go with some kind of green. I like this green, we'll stick with that. So that's the hair. Moving on to the eyes. So we can zoom in here. You've got quite a lot of zoom in and out ability, and of course you can rotate. So we have the brows here. Lots of different brow choices here, and you've actually got 4 pages worth of brows. So some of them are quite designed, some of them not so much, some are more a little bit more natural. We'll go with a more natural looking one. A little bit of a frown, I think, to make him look badass. So that's quite the brow there. I kind of like this one. Looks kind of designed. So we'll go with that. And of course you can also select the brow colour here as well, which isn't that noticeable. So we'll turn that up all the way. So you can kind of see the colours here as we move in between them. So we can make it of a similar colour to our hair. So there we go. And then we can also select the colour of the eye, which is very nice. So we can go from... You've got the full spectrum of colours here, which is very nice. So we'll have some nice sky blue eyes, I think. So there we go. Oh, actually, we'll have green, because we're going with the green today. So that's the eyes, and you can have some style adding here. So you have makeup that you can add to the character here. You've got 4 pages of that. So that's nearly 40, I would say, different makeup styles that you can go with, which is very cool. Lots of different shades here. I'm not a big kind of connoisseur of makeup, so I wouldn't know all of the details, funnily enough, but we'll just stick with no makeup for now. You can have a bit of a blush here. That's an interesting blush. Looks more like tattoos in my opinion. So they might want to rename that. Little bit of a feedback there. But yeah, I like this. I like the amount of customization so far, I have to say. So we've got... Tattoos are very common, I think, in video games, and people like them. They are very cool. But for now, I think we will go with the nothing. Now, if you want to go with nothing, you have to actually hit delete current selection. So we'll do that. Also another note with the eye makeup, you can actually affect its intensity. So we'll go with like this, and you can definitely see it there. So there we go. So no makeup for now. And then you can select the lip color, which is a bit strange, but there you go. You can definitely do that. We'll go with kind of the... I'm surprised I did that as well as I did. I was expecting it to be like bright red or something, but there we go. So that's the kind of the style of the face. Moving on to the skin, you have age lines here, which is quite cool, I have to say. You can be quite grizzled and old. I mean, look at that. That's definitely an older kind of looking elf. I'm not sure about the lifespan of elves in this game, but traditionally they have very long lifespans. A little bit pixelated, this one. You can see the pixels quite clearly there, so that might want to be cleaned up. But this, again, this is in alpha, so this is all subject to change, so we'll go with this one for now. And then we can also select the skin color here. So we've got 8 different options here. I would like to see a little bit more customization, maybe having sliders like before, but that's fine. We'll go with a kind of a paler elf, I think. That's kind of cool. We'll go with that. And then we've got face paint here. So we've got some very impressive looking ones. Oh my. Well, impressive and scary, to say the least. So, yeah, we've got a lot of different styles here. Very striking. They kind of went all out with the looks. So for now, we'll go with no face paint. And now we have some scars. Now, these scars are very high quality, I have to say. I mean, if you can just look at some of these, there's 3 pages of them. And you can... Oh, that's an interesting scar there. It looks more like a tattoo. So, you've got scars, gashes, burns, stitches, things like that. And the most interesting part about these, so if we take, for instance, this gash here, or this one, you can actually move it completely around the face to wherever you want. So we could have it kind of going along his cheek here, or we could have it going through his eye, or we could have it kind of closer to the forehead, Harry Potter style. And you can also affect the size to all kinds of different degrees. So we could have a little cut on his nose, or we could go really Harry Potter there like that, or have it kind of around the eye or the cheek. So we'll go kind of back cheek here. And additionally, you can also affect the angle as well. So we could have it kind of coming out of his hair there. So that's very good. I'm very impressed with the scar customization. So there we go. That's everything on the left so far. So now moving on to the right. This is where things get very interesting, to say the least. This is where the real customization comes in. So on the very right-hand side here, you have different presets for the selected kind of area. So for instance, we have these different eyes. So we'll go with this one. And then if you hit details, this is where you have all of the big sliders. So these will affect everything from eye size. You've got width here, so we'll kind of make them a little bit wider-eyed. Angles, you can actually have them kind of a little bit dopey if you want, or have them nice wide open. We'll do that. You can affect where the eyes are on the head. You can affect the size, the distance, all kinds of stuff here. I mean, you can affect things to a very kind of impressive degree, and I have to say I'm very impressed with it so far. So I'm just going to quickly go through these to give you an idea of just what you can do. It'd be nice to have some kind of keyboard interaction here, that you might be able to change it with the keyboard, which I can't seem to do, or being able to type in the exact numbers here. That would definitely elevate it from really good to great customization. So I'm just going to mess around a little bit more. You can make the pupils very small, very big, so we'll kind of have them average size there. You can change the pupils. You can make him a little bit strange, a little bit cross-eyed. So we'll just go with 0 for now. I have to say, though, it's strange that 0 is kind of on the left here. I'm not used to that, but some people may be. So you can affect the brow thickness here. We'll have nice thick brows. And then you can affect the width. And it's just very impressive, all this stuff. So we'll have... There we go. And then moving on to the nose. Again, you've got presets here. Just all kinds of different preset noses they have for you, and then you can affect them however you'd like. So we'll have a smaller nose. Interesting how it gets bigger when you go to the left instead of the right. That's not like the other one, so that may be a little bit of a bug there. And you can affect it to a pretty good degree. Most games don't... These sliders don't seem to do much, but I have to say that ArcheAge does seem to be a sort of an exception to that rule, and I like that. We've kind of got an upturned nose at the moment, but that's fine. That's fine. We're just making an example here. So you've got incredible character customization here. It's very in-depth. So we'll go with that for now. And then the mouth, again, just like before, all kinds of different presets. And you can affect them the size. We'll go with kind of a small mouse. Mouth, even. And then with the width, you can go really wide, quite short. So we'll go quite short. We'll have it kind of normal position, and then you can affect the kind of the jaw lines, how much your lips protrude. So there we go. We'll go like that. You can have a bit of an overbite if you want. So he's kind of gritting his teeth out. I like that, and I like how you can kind of see the teeth behind them, and they do seem to be fully rendered, which is good. And then this is probably where things get a little bit more difficult to see. Like, it's very difficult to see the shape of the lip there, but it might just be the customization of options that I have at the moment. And then you can have him smiling or unhappy. So we'll have him be unhappy. We'll have him kind of semi-happy. He's not sure if he's happy or not at the moment. So we'll go with that. And again, you've got a good bit of customization here. You can change the kind of the size of the different lips, and I like that. So we'll go with that. Cupid's bow. Now I'm not sure. Ah, okay, that's Cupid's bow. The kind of the little cleft there. So we'll go with that. So all kinds of great different things here. And you can actually affect the size of the teeth as well. That's good. You can't really see that though. You can if you activate the smile. Ah, look at him. He's so happy. It does look a little bit crazy, but he does look... Okay! That was like something out of a horror movie. So we'll just turn off that smile. We don't want him smiling at the moment. And then you've got the overall shape of the head here. Just like before, loads of different customization options for the actual head this time. So you've got like the chin, the jaws, the width of the head, all that stuff. So we'll have quite a pointed jaw, quite a long face, just like normal elves. So there's your underbite, your chin width, your lower jaw shapes, cheekbones, cheek sizes. And this is the part that's interesting to me. We've got very interesting ears here. You can actually affect them quite a lot, which is good, and you can have all kinds. I mean, you can have a very flat-eared kind of elf by kind of doing that, and he's a little bit more flat-eared than some other people. And then you can affect the angle to quite an amazing degree, I have to say. So I think that's very impressive. So here is our elf, and there is one other thing you can do, and that's to save the appearance. So if we hit this here, we can call it elf, okay? Hit confirm, and it's now saved it to my documents. So if we then just hit cancel and we go back to the main menu and you think, oh no, we've lost all that progress, spending all that time, because you could spend a lot of time doing this. You can go back to the elf, hit load appearance, press elf, apply the appearance, and then there he is, all sorted. So that's a very powerful customization tool, I think. So I'm very glad they added that, and they really should do that with more games. So that's all that, and moving on to the last thing you're going to do before you get into the game is you're going to pick your skill set. Now, classes in ArcheAge work a little bit differently from others. So here we have 6 different skill sets. These all work a little bit differently, but the way this game works is that you select skills from different skill sets, and then they all combine together into a class at level 10. So you can have 3 skill sets, and you can pick skills from them. So I believe there are 9 overall. There may be more as the game expands. But at the moment, you can select from 6, and then you can pick from other ones as well as you start leveling up. So you've got Battle Rage, which is kind of the warrior. And all of these symbolize different gods. So this is symbolized by Krios, the god of destruction. So it's very warrior-like, you know, just hitting things, whirlwinds, slashes, all that kind of thing. Now, ArcheAge is a hotkey-based MMO, so you'll be doing auto-attacks, you'll be using abilities, much like traditional World of Warcraft. That's at least the game that I'm familiar with. If you have your own hotkey MMO, then it's probably fairly similar to that. Although there are a lot of other customization options in this game. So, moving on, we've got sorcery. This is kind of the mage. You've got fire, ice, and lightning. I like that you've got access to all those different elements. So you've got things like flame bolt, chain lightning, meteor strike. So you've got all that kind of ability here. Moving on, we have the archer. This is all about doing damage from afar. You've got all kinds of different ways of attacking with the bow, kind of an explosive shot here. So you've got intensity that makes you immune to fear and makes you generate all kinds of different things as you attack. Kind of AoE attacks, general kind of hunter things. If you've seen a hunter or a marksman in your MMOs, then it's very similar to that. And then you've got vitalism, which is kind of like a cleric, priest. It's a healer class, essentially. So you've got all kinds of abilities like antithesis, which deals damage to enemies or heals your allies, depending on who you target. I like abilities like that. Revive, which just heals and revives people. Twilight, which is a kind of interesting utility spell, which turns the caster and nearby allies invisible for 60 seconds, and it's cancelled by movement. So it's kind of a mass stealth, which I think is very cool. And moving on, you've got occultism, or as we like to call it, the lawnmower starter. Okay, anyway, moving on, we've got Crippling Mire, which is just kind of a dot and reduced movement speed. Absorb Life Force, which is a drain life. And a Summon Wraith, which summons a pet for you that can attack for a while. So this is kind of a pet class, kind of a Necromancer Warlock combination. Lots of dots, kind of status ailments, things like that. And finally, Shadow Play. This is kind of a mixture of a rogue and a hunter. You've got some melee attacks from behind. You've got things like Wallop that hits a whole bunch of times. Toxic Shot, which is a poisoned attack. And, yeah, it's just a ranged poison attack. And you've got Shadow Step, which is a movement ability that allows you to move and has a chance to reset its cooldown. So it's kind of very roguey and a little bit of hunter thrown in there. Now, when you select one of these, it doesn't lock you into that choice permanently. You can start... Every time you level up, or every couple of levels I found, you can get a skill point, and you use the skill point to buy abilities. Some may cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc, etc. And by doing them, you unlock more into the Battle Rage, or the Sorcery, or Archery, or Vitalism, etc. trees. And that will allow you to get more powerful spells. And you don't have to go directly into one tree. So say I was a Battle Rage kind of warrior, I'm running around hitting things. I could then say, okay, I'd like some healing spells. So I could spec into Vitalism and start customizing my character to have some healing spells to make him very tanky and very difficult to take down. And then I could combine that, say, with some occultism, which would allow me to put some dots on enemies and siphon health from them to become very, very difficult to kill. So that's kind of how the skill system in this game works. You can only have 3 main skill sets. I'm not sure if you can buy out of them. As I said, this is a free-to-play game, so if you wanted to do that, you'd probably either have to make a new character or buy it from the item store. But there is a great deal of customization to be had here. So that's about it. You start by picking a class, and then you pick a name. So I will call myself Tusky, and then you create your character. So at the moment we're a battle rage. Start with a shield and a sword, and then we start in Nuia, and you can just hit start to get into the game. So that will conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe down below. And if you're after more things like this, make sure you go and check out the ArcheAge wiki on Gamepedia. A link to that will be in the description below. Thank you very much for watching.